Hello and welcome to Moneylife. This is Sucheta Dalal. This time I'm going to do what you would call an education video. And why is it an education video? Because it's something that's going to affect you and me. Actually, hopefully it will not, but if it does, we better be knowledgeable. And this is about the same thing that I have been repeating on and off for the last year, which is public liability insurance. What happens when you go into a restaurant, a cinema, you meet with a little accident, the Morbi bridge collapses, you're there having paid a ticket. Do you have any recourse other than begging the government to say, kuch ex gratia payment karo? I think we have rights. We have the right to get the money from the organization, the restaurant, the cinema, the theatre, the mall, the hospital, the airport, the hotel, where we have been hurt or injured. Maybe a bridge, it may be a ropeway, but we are unaware of it. In fact, ask 90% of Indians and they're likely to tell you that the only relief that you would get is your own health insurance, your accident insurance, or when the government very kindly makes an ex gratia payment, which means that your life is usually worth 5 lakhs. Building collapses, the government announces 2 lakhs, 5 lakhs, and that is all that your life is worth. Your injuries alone, if you survive, may cost a lot more in a hospital, but that is what we get and we are satisfied with it. Why does this happen? Because we Indians like to think that A, we don't know whom to ask, or we think it's our karma. We did something in our last life, or this is a lesson for something else that may have happened. We do not think it is our right and that there has to be an insurance that will pay for it. We may even blame ourselves saying, oh, I should have had a bigger health insurance policy or a bigger accident insurance policy. Does not work like this in the rest of the world, and I'm going to keep explaining why until you feel agitated enough to join our effort at Moneylife Foundation when we take it up. And we're doing a lot, and I want to tell you what we're doing. So our discovery mission started with DS Rangarao, 71 years old, former intelligence officer, who went to access his locker in State Bank of India, fell because the ladder was in a state of disrepair after 2 years of COVID lockdown. And he was so badly injured that he had to be in hospital. He needed minor surgery, he needed physiotherapy, and the bank did not so much as call an ambulance until he says, I'll pay for it myself. So yes, he had insurance. I mean, he's a senior citizen, fairly well-to-do. Why is it that the bank is not responsible? They just wash their hands of it, though it happened in their premises where the lockers are. He applied with our guidance at Moneylife Foundation to the bank, wrote to them. They rejected all his demands. He wrote to the banking ombudsman of the Reserve Bank of India. They too rejected it until a senior person, Srirang Samant from the insurance industry, said, why doesn't he send a legal notice under the Public Liability Insurance Act? And we said, hello, what is this? And began to explore. We wrote to the RBI, escalated it. In Mr. Rao's case, the payment was done because of pressure from the RBI. But this can't happen every time, right? This happened in the RBI, it doesn't happen in a restaurant, it won't happen at the airport. So what is our remedy? What is this public liability insurance? We've written several articles after that, but look at it. We discovered that SBI has a comprehensive liability cover. We also discovered that the Reserve Bank of India, which probably has an insurance cover as well, doesn't even know how it works, not even at the banking ombudsman level. How appalling is that? This is what I mean by high level of ignorance, even among people who have the insurance. So SBI has the insurance sitting at the headquarters, maybe for some major calamity. They do not think it applies down the line to their tens of thousands of branches when someone like Mr. Rao gets injured accessing his locker. But that is how this insurance is supposed to operate. They don't know it, we accept it. We don't demand it, and life goes on. So we decided to get to the bottom of it. That's when leaders in the insurance industry suggested one person who probably knows a lot about this sector. Her name is Uttara Vaid, bright and articulate liability insurance expert. She's the founder of Uttara Vaid Advisory. So we turned to her and said, can we put together what is happening in the industry, what kind of insurance covers are available for these kind of calamities, because we realized quickly enough she knows the entire history of how this act came about, what happened after the Bhopal gas tragedy, and very generously agreed to work with Moneylife Foundation so that she and her team have created a really comprehensive report on how it works. Now, I'm not going to talk about this report here. That's going to be released in 2 or 3 weeks, and it is, believe me, pretty eye-opening. Looks at the entire sector from its evolution to shortcomings, problems in implementation, and it suggests remedies. That will be taken up at a different level, and I believe that this doesn't affect only people like you and me, we middle class people who want to have a nice time, but it also affects people who are involved in industrial accidents or major calamities, Morbi for example. Another discovery is that every Indian company which does business with foreigners or people from America, Europe, Australia, any kind of business, under their contractual obligations are required to have a comprehensive cover. This is called a commercial general liability policy. Covers all eventualities. Payments are regularly made, part of their contract. And who are the kind of companies? Hotels, airlines, restaurant chains also. If you're a US company, there's no way you're going to operate in India without it, because the US is a litigious society. God help you if an American sitting in one of those restaurants in India spills coffee on himself or stumbles while going out because the step is too high, too low, whatever. He's going to sue you. You cannot do without insurance because payments are high. Lessons learned the hard way through litigation in their countries. Now, what is interesting is Uttaraved's findings say that it's being paid out in India, except that we Indians by and large don't ask for it unless the organization is willing to help. So foreign tourists apparently make maximum public liability claims. In fact, sometimes even fake ones, because that's a nice trick to get back all the money they've spent on their Indian holiday. Such claims, says the insurance industry, are rampant in Goa. Hotel and resort owners are paying up all the time because, according to her, they're stuck between a rock and a hard place. What this means is, if they contest or if they deny a claim, contradict a guest, especially when there's a false one, it's likely to affect their entire future business, because in Goa, people come on a charter flight. Whole bunch of charters come during the season. They occupy a particular hotel, they're long-term contracts, and it is much easier to pay one or two tourists making claims rather than lose that kind of business. So people are paying up. Now, this report that Uttaraved Advisory LLC has done has come up with a great number of examples, and you must listen to them because it could be you and you may not know that you have a remedy and you have a right to compensation. So, first example, lady visiting a cinema twisted her foot due to a broken surface beneath the carpet near the exit gate. The management of that theatre paid her 3.5 lakh in compensation and PLI policy. Did you know that? I'm sure you know examples of people who have sprained their legs, nothing happens. Second example, again a hotel. Hotel was apparently repairing its big gate and oiling it. Accidentally, it slipped out of their hands and rolled away when it was being tested, whether the oiling had worked. A bystander, taxi driver who was standing nearby, it fell on him and he was severely injured. The hotel, of course, rushed him to a hospital, but he died on the way. His legal heirs sought compensation, and based on his income, the claim settlement under liability insurance was 20 lakhs. Fair enough. Another was a bizarre accident, again, the hotel industry. So you get it, the hotel industry is paying up regularly because it is a sitting duck where these kind of incidents are bound to happen. So this was valet parking, okay? So the valet brings the car up, obviously not very sure how to drive a Mercedes-Benz, hasn't probably told the truth while getting the job. So he brings it up from the basement. In the process of parking it, hits a Toyota Innova, which in turn rams into a Tata Tigor, which in turn hits a Swift Desire. Now, 4 cars damaged. The total damage is counted at 14.5 lakhs. settled by liability claim because an insurance exists. Did you know that? Quite likely to have screamed your head off and taken insurance would not know that it comes out of public liability insurance claims or the comprehensive general insurance. Another case, 9 customers were using a lift inside a big garment store. They were on the 3rd floor. The lift cable snapped. It crashed to the ground floor. There was a lot of injuries. People were rushed to hospital. The claim and the total payment for all their treatment came up to 4.7 lakhs paid from liability insurance. Now, how and why this happens, whether these companies or the garment shop or whatever themselves come forward while others don't, we've seen both examples. SBI, there is an insurance, won't pay until we put pressure. In most cases, nobody pays, but some wonderful examples where payments are made, and they're especially made to foreigners because apparently they're able to pursue their claims more effectively. Why does this happen? Because in most countries, there is a system of contingency fees. You pay only if you win and if there are damages. So if your lawyer gets you $1 million, charge you a hefty amount, as much as 30% or more. But you don't have to do anything. The legal firm pursues it, doesn't let go of it, and ensures you get it. India, for some reason, frowns on it. Personally, I believe that if we have contingency fees in India, even if the legal industry sneers at it, it is going to be game-changing for us, especially on consumer-related issues. In contrast, in India, like I said with SBI, look at this egregious example. There's a tendency to hide the fact that there is a claim available. So this report writes that petroleum companies and dealers have a comprehensive liability cover of up to 40 lakhs to indemnify LPG cylinder blasts. Okay. Now you would read about LPG cylinder blasts every other day in the newspapers. It's happening all over the country. Up to 40 lakhs is covered, but they will not tell you, or they will pay you a pittance. They go out of their way to hide the fact from consumers, with the result that claims are rare. Compare the number of blasts that happen and the number of claims, it is insignificant, though blasts happen all the time. Why are we in this situation? Now, Uttara Ved's report cites the famous case that all of us know about. It happened in the US, that's how the law evolved, that's why people are so worried about not having liability cover. If you don't know it, you need to know of it. So this is the 1992 case of Stella Liebeck. She was sitting in McDonald's, ordered coffee. The coffee was scalding hot. It was an accident, of course, fell on her lap, burnt her legs and her groin area. And she had to be rushed to hospital. She needed skin grafts. She needed extensive treatment. Yes, hot coffee can be really injurious. Now, she spent $18,000 because there was lost income, she couldn't go to work, and there were medical bills. So she sued McDonald's and asked for $20,000, $2,000 more. What McDonald's offered was a humiliating $800 in settlement. So she decided to fight it. She fought for compensation. Unfortunately, this story is made out all over as though it was a small coffee burn. Remember, even I did not know that it was so major. 18,000, multiple surgeries, skin grafting, and they offered her $800 in settlement. So when she fought, she got a stupendous $160,000 as compensation and $480,000 in punitive damages. It's been such a lesson for all American consumer-facing companies, and that is why even if they operate in India, they ensure that they have liability cover. I don't know if you've had even a fraction of this accident in any American company operating in India, but I'm sure you never thought that you can actually claim damages, because we in India don't even want this level of compensation, but at least the costs, we have a long way to go in terms of just basic awareness of the fact that this insurance exists, our rights to be treated fairly and to get compensation. So, and then of course the whole legal hurdles, and believe me, there are plenty of them. The report is bringing out why this liability insurance does not work, why it does not percolate to our level, why it is so difficult. Unlike motor insurance, which works perfectly well, the same thing can happen here, and what are the friction points and hurdles that don't allow it to happen. For that, wait for a few more weeks. We're going to come up with it. Meanwhile, spread this story because it's in your interest and mine. And if you haven't subscribed to Moneylife as yet, please do. It's going to help you improve your life. We have a series of articles on this. If you're interested, and I hope you are interested, please read them at our Moneylife website. Thank you so much.